arms come up, reach up. And then on the exhale, drop the left hand and lean over to the right, to the left, sorry. Good, feeling your right side lengthening. On the in-breath, you might feel yourself getting taller. And on the exhale, you may lean a little bit more, making sure your right butt cheek stays on the floor. And then we can just switch sides by first inhaling up, both arms go up, reaching up, and then exhaling, right hand comes down to the mat, and exhaling over to the right this time. Good, just take a couple deep breaths here. Trying to have your shoulder relaxed and not come up by your ear. Good, and then from here, we're just gonna sweep our left arm down to the right, to the middle, and over to the other side. And then bring your right arm up. So we're gonna be moving now through just what we just did. So exhaling, fingertips can graze the ground, and left arm comes up, and exhaling, other side. Just a couple more of these, moving through the side stretch, getting some motion into our body, moving the blood around. And whenever you're done that, you can just come on back to neutral. And we'll change the cross of your legs first, just to give your knees and your legs a break. And we'll just do a nice simple twist to release the spine. So inhaling, arms up, right hand comes behind your back, and your left hand grabs for your right knee. Inhaling, growing tall. Exhaling, feeling the twist coming from your core. One more breath here. And on the exhale, you can let yourself unwind, come to center. Then we'll take that to the other side. So inhaling, stretching up, reaching up, and then exhaling, moving our twist to the other side. This should be gentle to start. On the inhale, filling up with breath. Exhale, you're kind of squeezing, rinsing as you twist even more deeply. Inhaling, filling up. Exhaling, squeezing out all the tension, stress, negative energy. One more breath here. And then exhale, coming back to center. Awesome. Let's move up to hands and knees now. So we can do cat-cow. Preparing for cat-cow. So the wrists are under the shoulders and knees are under the hips, of course. And then on the exhale, you just want to let your belly drop. You're gazing up, your tailbone is reaching up. And then on the exhale, rounding everything in, tucking. Inhaling, heart opens, throat opens, looking up. Exhaling, pushing into the mat, rounding your back, chucking your chin so you're even getting a stretch in the back of your neck. Good, a couple more like this. You can do any variation if you want. You can go into like figure 8 and just wiggle around more if that feels good. Again, getting some fluid into your joints, some movement into the spine. One more. And then you can just come into neutral. Just feeling into your body. If your thoughts have wandered, or you just feel a little tense, that's okay. Just come on back, feel into your body. Try to let thinking dissipate. Try to have feeling be the most of what's happening right now instead of thinking. So we're going to push back into downward dog when you're ready. Tucking the toes, bringing the hands a little bit forward. Ooh, nice downward dog. And then, yeah, letting your tailbone lead back, reaching up. You may need to bend your knees a little bit. Wonderful. Great downward dog. Yeah, pedaling out feels good. Nice, straight, strong back. Nod your head yes and no if you feel tension in the neck. You're pushing into the mat with all four corners of your palms. Elbow creases are facing forward. Good. Just feel that lengthening in your spine as your cervical spine unravels. And then on the next inhale, walk, hop, or jump to the top of your mat. And then halfway lift, pinching your shoulder blades behind you, lengthening your spine. On the exhale, fold forward, drop it all, relax, let it all go. And then on the exhale, inhaling, coming on up, reaching up. Hands can come to heart for this one. So we'll do a couple more sun salutes just to get our body warm, even though I know we're already warm just from the heat. All of us in our shorts and tank tops with our fans going. But let's get our muscles a little bit more warm here, just with a couple half sun salutes. And if you want to do a full vinyasa, absolutely welcome to do that too. So we'll do 3. So inhaling, you're reaching up, lifting up. Yeah, feeling that length in your body, it feels good. Exhale, folding forward. Let it all go. Inhaling, flat back, long spine. And then exhaling, if you're going into a chaturanga, or sorry, a plank first. Take one inhale on your plank. Exhaling into chaturanga, my knees are bent, doing modified. And then inhaling, upward dog or baby cobra. Exhaling, pushing back into downward dog. Inhaling here. Exhaling. On your next inhale, walking up to the top of your mat. You're going to meet me in a halfway lift. Straight back, exhaling, folding forward. And then inhaling, maybe bending the knees and really rising up, feeling like you're trying to reach all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart. Okay, 2 more of those. Inhaling, reach up. Exhaling, folding forward. I'm doing a half this time. Inhaling, flat back. Crown is reaching towards the front of the room. Exhaling, go into the vinyasa if you want. If not, just exhale, fold forward. And then come with me on your inhale, you're coming on up. And exhaling, hands at your heart. People that are doing a vinyasa, take your time, meet us when you're ready. Holding with hands at your heart for a moment. Feeling your heartbeat in your chest. Good, and then we'll do one more. I'm going to vinyasa this time. So inhaling, reaching up, stretching up, lengthening. Exhaling, folding forward, letting go. Halfway lift. And then back to plank. You're inhaling here, and then on your exhale, chaturanga, I'm going to drop my knees, do modified. Inhaling for an upward dog. And exhaling back into downward dog. Let's take one breath here. inhale. I want you to bring your left foot up in between your hands. We're headed to high lunge. So get yourself situated in the bottom half and then floating your arms on up for high lunge. Settling into your high lunge for a couple breaths. Making sure your tail is tucked, your right hip isn't splaying out. If your shoulders are sore, you can put them in your arms in cactus. One more breath here. And then we're just going to transition into runner's lunge, which is very similar to what we're doing now, but the hands come on either side of the foot or on blocks, whatever you prefer. So getting a little bit more deeply into the right hip flexor and left groin. I like to move around in this one. Good. Try not to hunch over, but still have an open heart. Just getting into our hips here. And then actually not dropping your knee yet, sorry. You can, or you can just come into easy twist, right hand next to left foot, and then opening up into a twist. You can have your knee dropped on this, of course, though. And 2 breaths here. Check in with your shoulders to make sure they're relaxed. I know you're working hard. All right, and then drop your back knee. Yeah. And then we're gonna go into a quad stretch. This is like my favorite quad stretch. Sorry if I do it every single Wednesday. But you're putting your right hand near your left foot, and then you're going to bend your right leg so that you can try to reach around with your left hand and grab your right foot, not your knee. There we go. So if this feels good, stay here. If it doesn't, you can just do a different variation. You can just do low lunge. Getting really deeply into that right quad and the hip flexor. You can splay your left knee out. Doesn't have to be straight. That way you're opening up and getting even lower in your left groin. Okay, and then let all of that go. We're going to plant our hands on the mat and tucking your right foot, bring your left foot back to meet it. We're heading into downward dog. Ooh. Okay, wiggle it out a bit if you can feel your right hip is a little clinky. Mine is. Two more breaths here in downward dog. We're going to be headed to the next side. Of course, you can always do a vinyasa in between sides if you like. Don't let me stop you. Okay, on your next in-breath, take your right foot and bring it in between your hands. So we're going for high lunge. Inhaling, bringing your torso up, and then floating your arms up finally. Going into any variation with your arms that you feel suits your body's needs tonight. You can clasp your hands behind your back if you're feeling like your chest is tight. One breath. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Feeling your right quad working for you. The left hip flexor is getting a really, really deep lengthening. Good, and then let that go, and we'll transition into runner's lunge, which is very similar, but you're putting your hands down on the floor or blocks. So when you're in this position, make sure your core is still engaged, heart is open, tailbone is lengthening, crown of head is lengthening. So really you're in this really active pose. You're not dumping into and just kind of being all sloppy, right? Good, and then when you're ready, we're gonna go into that easy twist, so you can drop your knee if you like. I'm dropping on this side, because this side is different. And then left hand comes to the ground, and right arm opens up into that easy twist. Good, lengthening through your chest, your arm, your armpit. Cleansing with that twist. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into that quad stretch. So I like to scoot my right foot out a little bit more towards the side of the mat when I'm getting ready for this, because I like to open up my leg, open up my knee. So you could be on the side of your right foot. That's how open you could get. And then when you're ready, or if you're not ready, just stay here. But if you want to go to the next step, bend the left leg, reaching the foot towards the butt. And then you can stay there if that's okay for your knee. And then if you want to go to the third level, reaching back, grabbing onto your ankle or wherever you can reach, opening up the right side of your chest, left hip flexor, and deep into the right groin. Firming up your core, making sure your shoulders are relaxed. One more breath here. Good, and then we're going to release that slowly. I did it a bit too fast on the other side. And then when you're ready, tucking your left toes under, we're heading back to downward dog. However you want to get there. I have to go into hands and knees first. Good. Back to downward dog. Yep. And then we're there. Taking a few cleansing breaths here. The other option is a child's pose, and the other option is vinyasa. If you want to go through vinyasa here. Remembering to breathe, feeling into our bodies. Putting a pause on thoughts or letting them drift by. Can you feel into your body instead of think about your body or think about the pose or think about what's happening next? Okay, so after your vinyasa, child's pose or downward dog, we're going to walk to the front of the mat and forward fold. So letting everything relax. If you want to get some more stretch in your shoulders and chest, you could clasp your hands behind your back and let them fall over. Breathing into your chest, feeling your chest grow bigger, maybe coming out a bit, and then on your exhale, sinking in even further, hands come down further. One more breath in. Exhaling, sinking even deeper. Forward folds are so good for anxiety, for calming the nervous system, getting us back online, getting us grounded. Good, now drop your hands and just let them fall in front of you. And we're gonna roll up super slowly, bending through your knees. Core is tucked and tight. Now start to roll you'll feel your bum muscles actually engaging here in order to lift you up. That's where you should feel it. When you come up, shrug your shoulders up and then relax them down. Just feeling into your body for a second, adjusting if you want, getting a sip of water if you need it. Taking a moment to feel into your body. Does it feel any different than when we started? It's amazing how even 20 minutes of yoga can impact your body so much and your mind. All right, and your physiology. So we are going to do, I call this chair eagle. So we're going to get into our shoulders and chest a little bit more. And so bringing your hands out into a T, your arms out into a T, and then taking your right arm underneath your left, so eagle arms. Good. So you should feel your shoulders moving down. So they shouldn't be up by your ears, shoulders are down. And then we're going to sit back as if we're in a chair, as if we're doing the chair pose. Good. And then you can even tuck further to get a stretch in your upper back. So you're basically kind of doing like a cat with your upper back, tucking everything in. You're like a little ball. And then on the inhale, you're going to push up with your knees, straighten your legs, and you're going to come into a bit of a back bend. So going back and forth like that a couple times. On your exhale, you're coming forward. Chin is tucked, tail is tucked. You can really feel that your back opening up. And then inhaling up, a little bit of a back bend. Good, and then coming back to neutral, unwinding your arms, bringing them out in a T. Yeah, you can shake it out. That was like pretty intense. We're just gonna switch sides and do the same thing on the other side now. So taking your left arm underneath your right. Oh, that one's a little more awkward for me. Making sure your shoulders are dropping and they're not by your ears. And then let's start back bend, inhaling, opening up, looking up, little back bend, and exhaling, coming forward into our chair, and tucking in like a little ball. And then just doing that at your own pace. Opening and closing. And the next time that you're up, you can unwind your arms. Maybe just move them in some circles or whatever feels good. The shoulder got quite compressed for that one. All right. We have about 10 more minutes, so we're going to do goddess pose. And I'm not going to forget the chest opener that Christy asked for because it's an awesome one. So with goddess pose, you are bringing your feet quite wide apart, like maybe 3 feet. And then pointing your toes are pointing out like a duck. And then core is engaged, spine is long. And you're going to bend your knees and try to track them over your toes so your knees aren't falling in, they're opening out to the side. Yeah, nice. So we're getting a stretch in the inner thighs now, inner hips. You can take your hands and push your knees open a little bit more as you sink down. Good. And then if we want to bring a little movement into this, bringing our hands to our heart space. And inhaling, we're going to open up. So straighten the legs, open up to almost a star on the inhale. So you're getting really big. And then on the exhale, bringing yourself down, hands to heart, goddess pose again. Let's do that 2 more times. So opening up in a star, exhaling, coming down, try to sink low as you can. Knees are not coming in. And then inhaling up, exhaling one more time, down. This time I want you to put your hands kind of on your inner, just above your inner knees. And then we're going to do a little bit of a twist for the back. So bringing your right shoulder and trying to, aiming it towards your left knee. And then the other way. Yeah, I love this one so much. You can go kind of fast from side to side, or you can hold it on one side if that's what feels good to you. Legs are absolutely on fire. And then when you're done, you can come to neutral. Oh, and come back up. I think I have a cramp in my leg from that. Okay, shake it out. That was a little bit of a workout. Awesome. Okay, we just have a couple more poses. We're gonna go down to the mat now. My heart rate actually got up a little bit from that goddess pose. All right, so let's go into I know I always do this one too, thread the needle. It's just one of my favorite ones for shoulders. So if you want to join me in thread the needle, or if you're bored of it, you could do something else. All right, so coming onto all fours. Let's open up with our left side this time. So opening up with your left hand, reaching it up to the sky, and then threading it over under your right arm. And then just breathing into the back of your shoulder, your upper back. Make sure your hips aren't falling over to the right. One more breath in. Exhale. Sink farther. And then on the inhale, come on up. Opening up that left side. Oh. Bringing it back down to neutral. And then we'll move to the other side. On the inhale, opening up, trying to reach up to the sky. Exhale, threading. Right away, check in with your hips. If they've flopped over to the left, just move them a bit to the right. Feeling that intense and deep stretch through the back of your shoulder. One more big breath in, and then on the exhale, you're sinking even further down into the mat. And on your next inhale, then slowly rising up and reaching once more up with the right hand, trying to open a little bit more than last time. Coming back to all fours. Okay, now let's come down on our bellies to do the chest and shoulder opening stretch. This one's very intense, but I like it a lot. So I usually scooch over to the left side of my mat, and then putting out your right hand in a T, fashion. Good. And then you're just opening up your whole left side. You can push up with your left hand, opening up the left side. And I usually bring my left foot to the back of me and kind of set it down on the floor. And then just breathe here. Check in with your shoulder to make sure it's not too intense. Awesome. Keep breathing. And then if you want even more of a challenge, take your right hand up in the air and try to move it back towards your left hand. So mine does not go very far at all. It kind of just comes up in the air. But you can probably feel, even just bringing your left hand off of the ground, you can probably feel that intensification in the stretch in your right pecs, chest. Some people can touch their hands together, which is just odd. They must be double jointed. And when you're ready, release that. A lot of blood flow into that right shoulder and chest. Oh. You can come up into Sphinx for a second if you want. I don't know why, I just came up into Sphinx and it felt good. Or you can just mosey on to the other side. So now opening up putting out the right, left arm into a T. You know, you're probably already there. And then taking your right hand and pushing yourself up so you can open up your whole right side. Feeling the opening in the right chest and shoulder. Just breathing into it. If it feels twingy, you could always just come out a tiny bit. And all you have to do to come out a tiny bit is to kind of roll to the right a little. To the left, rolling down, your body down instead of back up. On the other hand, if you want to intensify it, bring your right hand up in the air and try to move it back towards your left hand. Just continue to breathe, maybe 1 or 2 more breaths there. And then when you're ready to come out, we're gonna push back into child's pose. But for this one, I want your hands down by your side, so your palms are on the ground, and your hands are facing the back of the mat. So you're giving your shoulders 100% rest right here. So just letting your shoulders unwind after that intense stretch. Good. And then from child's pose, when you're ready, we're just going to move, you can move onto your tummy again. And then just roll onto your back for a quick Shavasana. So just letting go of all the work you just did, wiggling around until you get into a nice, comfortable position. Still feeling your spine long. Palms are facing up. You're just taking in all that you just did, giving your body a chance to integrate it. We can breathe in fully, bringing your breath into your body all the way down to your toes. And then full exhale out. And then just breathing naturally for a couple more minutes. Letting your body sink even deeper. Continuing to feel into your body instead of hooking on to thoughts or a story or a to-do list. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in, sigh it out. Stretch your arms above your head. Then leaning onto your right side and coming up to seated. Join me with your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this class. Hope your hips and shoulders feel great. Namaste.